When we left Frederick Henry, he was still on vacation at the Grand Hotel in Stresa, where he went fishing with the bartenders, spent the night with Catherine, and played pool with a count, while drinking champagne and briefly discussing the war, politics, and religion. My name is Trisha Sulpizi. I'm your host for Tea and Bedtime Stories. In this episode, we will continue reading Ernest Hemingway's novel, A Farewell to Arms. We read and discussed chapter 35, and now we'll continue book 4 with chapter 36. After the reading, I'll follow up with a few quick facts and my impressions. So let's begin chapter 36. That night there was a storm, and I woke to hear the rain lashing the window panes. It was coming in the open window. Someone had knocked on the door. I went to the door very softly, not to disturb Catherine, and opened it. The barman stood there. He wore his overcoat and carried his wet hat. "Can I speak to you, Tenente?" "What's the matter?" "It's a very serious matter." I looked around. The room was dark. I saw the water on the floor from the window. "Come in," I said. I took him by the arm into the bathroom, locked the door, and put on the light. I sat down on the edge of the bathtub. "What's the matter, Emilio? Are you in trouble?" "No, you are, Tenente." "Yes?" "They're going to arrest you in the morning." "Yes?" "I came to tell you. I was out in the town and I heard them talking in a cafe." "I see." He stood there, his coat wet, holding his wet hat, and said nothing. "Why are they going to arrest me?" "For something about the war." "Do you know what?" "No, but I know they know you were here before as an officer and now you're here out of uniform. After this retreat, they arrest everybody." I thought a minute. "What time do they come to arrest me?" "In the morning. I don't know the time." "What do you say to do?" He put his hat in the wash bowl. It was very wet and had been dripping on the floor. "If you have nothing to fear, in arrest it's nothing. But it's always bad to be arrested, especially now." "I don't want to be arrested." "Then go to Switzerland." "How?" "In my boat." "There is a storm," I said. "The storm is over. It's rough, but you will be all right." "When should we go?" "Right away. They might come to arrest you early in the morning." "What about our bags?" "Get them packed. Get your lady dressed. I will take care of them." "Where will you be?" "I'll wait here. I don't want anyone to see me outside the hall." I opened the door, closed it, and went into the bedroom. Catherine was awake. "What is it, darling?" "It's all right, Cat," I said. "Would you like to get dressed right away and go in a boat to Switzerland?" "Would you?" "No," I said. "I'd like to go back to bed." "What is it about?" "The barman said they're going to arrest me in the morning." "Is the barman crazy?" "No." "Then please hurry, darling, and get dressed so we can start." She sat up on the side of the bed. She was still sleepy. "Is the barman in the bathroom?" "Yes." "Then I won't wash." "Please look the other way, darling. I'll be dressed in just a minute." I saw her white back as she took off her nightgown, and then I looked away because she wanted me to. She was beginning to be a little big with the child, and she did not want me to see her. I dressed hearing the rain on the window. I did not have much to put in my bag. "There's plenty of room in my bag, Cat, if you need any." "I'm almost packed," she said. "Darling, I'm awfully stupid, but why is the barman in the bathroom?" "Shh, he's waiting to take our bags down." "He's awfully nice." "He's an old friend," I said. "I nearly sent him some pipe tobacco once." "I'm ready, darling." Oh, I looked out the open window at the dark night. I could see the lake, only the dark and the rain, but the wind was quieter. "All right." I went to the bathroom door. "Here are the bags, Emilio," I said. The barman took the 2 bags. "You're very good to help us," Catherine said. "That's nothing, lady," the barman said. "I'm glad to help you, just so I don't get in trouble myself." "Listen," he said to me. "I'll take these out the servants' stairs and to the boat. You just go as though you were going for a walk." "It's a lovely night for a walk," Catherine said. "It's a bad night, all right. I'm glad I have an umbrella, Catherine said. We walked down the hall and down the wide, thickly carpeted stairs. At the foot of the stairs by the door, the porter sat behind his desk. He looked surprised at seeing us. You're not going out, sir? Yes, I said. We're going to see the storm along the lake. Haven't you got an umbrella, sir? No, I said. This coat sheds water. He looked at it doubtfully. I'll get you an umbrella, sir, he said. He went away and came back with a big umbrella. It is a little big, sir, he said. I gave him a 10-lire note. Oh, you are too good, sir. Thank you very much, he said. He held the door open and we went out into the rain. He smiled at Catherine and she smiled at him. Don't stay out in the storm, he said. You will get wet, sir and lady. He was only second porter and his English was still literally translated. We'll be back, I said. We walked down the path and under the giant umbrella and out through the dark, wet gardens to the road and across the road to the trellised pathway along the lake. The wind was blowing offshore now. It was cold, wet November wind, and I knew it was snowing in the mountains. We came along past the chained boats and the slips along the quay, where the barman's boat should be. The water was dark against the stone. The barman stepped out from beside the row of trees. The bags are in the boat, he said. I want to pay you for the boat, I said. How much money you have you? Not so much. You send me the money later, that will be all right. How much? What you want? Tell me how much. If you get through, send me 500 francs. You won't mind that if you get through. All right. Here are sandwiches. He handed me a package. Everything there was in the bar, it's all here. This is a bottle of brandy and a bottle of wine. I put them in my bag. Let me pay you for those. All right, give me 50 lira. I gave it to him. The brandy is good, he said. You don't need to be afraid to give it to your lady. She better get in the boat. He held the boat. It's rising and falling against the stone wall, and I helped Catherine in. She sat in the stern and pulled her cape, and I pulled her cape around her. You know where to go? Up the lake. You know how far? Past Luino? Past Luino, Canero, Canobbio, Tranzano. You aren't in Switzerland until you come to Brissago. You have to pass Mont Tamara. What time is it? Catherine asked. It's only 11 o'clock, I said. If you row all the time, you ought to be there by 7 o'clock in the morning. Is it that far? It's 35 kilometers. How should we go? In this rain, we need a compass. No. Row to Isola Bella, then on the other side of Isola Madre, go with the wind. The wind will take you to Palanza. You will see the lights, then go up the shore. Maybe the wind will change. No, he said, the wind will blow like this for 3 days. It comes straight down from the Matarone. There is a can to bail with. Let me pay you something for the boat now. No, I'd rather take a chance. If you get through, pay me all you can. All right. I don't think you'll get drowned. That's good. Go with the wind up the lake. All right, I stepped in the boat. Did you leave money for the hotel? Yes, in an envelope in the room. All right, good luck, Tenente. Good luck. We thank you many times. You won't thank me if you get drowned. What does he say? Catherine asked. He says good luck. Good luck, Catherine said. Thank you very much. Are you ready? Yes. He bent down and shoved us off. I dug at the water with the oars, then waved one hand. The barman waved back deprecatingly. I saw the lights of the hotel and rowed out, rowing straight out until they were out of sight. There was quite a sea running, but we were going with the wind. That concludes chapter 36 of book 4. So, few quick facts. We found out that the barman's name is Emilio. That was finally revealed. Luino is one of the little villages on the shore of Lake Maggiore. So is Canero. It's actually right across on the west bank from Luino. Canobbio is further up the river. It's on the west bank north of Canero, and then Chanzano is on the east bank north of Canobillo. So the river kind of bends. It has these like dog legs where it goes right and then left. And so he's trying to describe the towns so he can navigate his way. And then finally, there's like the line between Italy and Switzerland is right in the middle of the lake. And so one of the most northern villages would be the Brissago, and it's on the west bank, just across the border. So it's the first little village or town or whatever on the Swiss side of the lake villages in the province of Varese, and it's in the region of Lombardy, if you care. And 35 kilometers is a little less than 22 miles, so that's why it's taken him 8 hours. I read somewhere that the average person can row 3.5 to 4.5 miles an hour in middle conditions. So who knows what'll happen in a storm. But Isola Bella is an island. It's a small island that's closest to the shore of Stresa. And then if you keep going out towards the middle of the lake is the Isola Madre. And if you keep going straight in that direction, you'll hit, it kind of that lake wise off. But there's a village, Spalanza, which is right in the crux of the Y. And so if he doesn't hit that, then he'll go off in the other direction. So he needs to be on what would that be? The right fork of the Y to get to where he needs to go. So who knows what happened. But it looks like if he continues east, then northeast, he'll find his way to Switzerland. And Matarone is the mountain that looks like it's directly west of Stresa, so it's kind of like right behind their location. So again, if he follows the wind, he should be fine, according to their description. It all tracks. Anyway, that's all I have for quick facts. My impressions, I think it's weird when he describes the barman as having waved back deprecatingly. That usually means like with a little bit of contempt or disapproval when he shoved them off, and it might explain why he calls him the barman instead of using his name, because he thinks that the barman's judging him. I don't know if he is, but that was obviously his impression, and maybe Frederick was projecting some negativity that may or may not have existed. Who knows, because he was willing to help him. But given his current status as a fugitive, surely his ego is a little fragile and probably bruised, that the man who was kind of his servant, right? He was the bartender at the swanky hotel, and now he's got the upper hand as their hero. So the roles have switched in this moment, and I'm pretty sure that the character's feeling a little uneasy and like he doesn't know his place. I don't know. That's just I could be completely off, but some people are like that, and this character is kind of just hitting that same attitude for me, that he's really bound by his ego. So bound that it fuels all of his actions, right? He appears to fit that type of a person who reacts really strongly to anything that threatens his image of himself. And if you notice in the story, I mean, Henry will retaliate if somebody threatens him. His, face or his public image. He doesn't like it. And so I think just that role switch is threatening his ego in a way where he's maybe projecting some more negativity on a person who's clearly just trying to help him and his wife get away, and doesn't even want the money that he has. I don't know. That was a little displaced to me, but he would be very correct to be fearful of arrest by the Italians. because the Italian army had the highest number of executions by firing squad during World War I. And they also used what's called summary justice far too liberally from what I read. Article 40 of the Military Criminal Code established an obligation for anyone holding a position of command to use every possible means, I'm quoting, to prevent a number of crimes, including disbanding, abandoning one's place in front of the enemy, desertion with conspiracy, looting, mutiny, and revolt. But it was not, however, specifically envisaged that soldiers would be executed by firing squad without a trial, which did happen quite often, according to the International Encyclopedia of World War I. But that Article 40 further stated that whoever, in the course of fighting, detrimentally influenced his companion's morale with acts or words by refusing to obey orders, and they had to be immediately executed by any officer present. I'm sorry, but that is so... And also the High Command also... they ruled that these types of executions without trial were legitimate as long as they were related to crimes occurring in front of the enemy. And so that could mean what they believed would seriously endanger the security and cohesiveness of the unit. That could be anything, right? They could just decide completely subjectively, oh, I don't like this person, or since there's no trial or jury or even corroborating evidence required for these executions, they could carry them out, again, summarily, whenever they feel like it. So he's very right to be worried. In fact, someone in his position would be crazy not to be crapping their pants in that situation. Also, I think Catherine's a little crazy for just up and going with him. Apparently, she has no other life, so she doesn't really care what happens to herself. And so the excitement of being with him is probably part of the appeal. I don't know. The excitement of the unknown. Some people need drama in their lives, and especially in their relationships. Because stability can get really boring if you're accustomed to chaos. And research actually shows that women get bored with their relationships, like committed relationships, faster than men do. Because it's kind of stifling to our need for novelty, right? Novelty and predictability are on two opposite ends of the spectrum. There's a few theories that talk about our need for novelty, but relational dialectics talks about how we have these opposing needs, right? As human beings, we need things to be stable and routine and scheduled and the same. And we also need things to be new and exciting. Some people have those extreme needs, right? And we also have needs for to be alone, and we need time with other people. And again, people experience different extremes of those needs. Some people can't be alone. Other people would prefer to be alone. And so it's the same for our need for novelty. Some people have a really high need for excitement and something new, and they can't withstand stability in their lives. And other people can't deal with anything, any type of change. And so I think Catherine and Fred probably fall on the side of the high need for novelty, I'm guessing, and which is what makes them a good match. And if you recall, Catherine mentioned that her father was an alcoholic, and we know that Fred doesn't get along with his parents, so there was some chaos in their early childhoods. That kind of means that they're likely to recreate the drama that feels most familiar to them. And so, sorry I'm crapping on this love story, but I can see why it would appeal to the audience of young people in the late 1920s and why it might still appeal to some young people today. Because I'm certain that they all knew of someone. Maybe they didn't know someone personally, but everyone at that time probably had heard of someone who, got pregnant out of wedlock and got in trouble and didn't know what to do. And the author manages, to impart humanity into these characters in ways that make them sympathetic and relatable. And so the idea of two people together fighting against the odds is terribly romantic, right? These are humans in incredibly dire circumstances of war, and they're still trying to find happiness, and that's kind of beautiful. Anyway, that's all I have for chapter 36 of book 4. In the next episode, we'll pick up where we left off and finish book 4 by reading chapter 37 of A Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway. Please join me for more Team Bedtime Stories. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks for listening.